Tonight on News 3 Now, local school districts are bracing for uncertain weather as they try to determine how to approach the coming days.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 10, we will break down the President's second State of the Union address and have the Democratic response.
And how Madison leaders are responding to a report of water contamination right now at 10.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Winter has returned to Wisconsin.
It sure has. Winter weather advisories are in effect for the entire viewing area until at least midnight tonight, with more sleet and freezing rain possible. We go now right to meteorologist Dave Caulfield on the backyard patio with our first alert forecast. Dave?
Well, Eric and Charlotte, much of the heaviest precipitation has moved to the east of southern Wisconsin, but still there's some very light freezing rain and sleet showing up across portions of southern Wisconsin. Now on radar, it may appear as snow, but we've seen so far this evening that the radar may not be telling the whole truth with this system. It's a complicated system to try and get in one radar image. So sleet, freezing rain, and snow possible overnight. It will be light, but this is what we're looking at in Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam. Not much. In fact, you can't really see a lot. Visibility is still a little bit reduced in some spots like Madison at 3 miles, 2.5 mile visibility in Boscobel, and 4 in Mineral Point. Temperatures are in the low 20s in Madison, but much warmer in Janesville, where it's at 32, and 34 in Kenosha, where some light rain was being reported last hour. And actually, we got some reports in the Milwaukee area of thunder sleet. So a lot going on with this system. Luckily, it does wrap up by the time we get to early tomorrow morning. Wind speeds out of the east at about 10 miles per hour. So as we head into the overnight hours, still some light freezing rain and sleet possible. But by the time we get to the start of tomorrow morning, that precipitation will wrap up. Round 1 will wrap up with temperatures in the low 30s for highs. We'll talk about round 2 of rain, snow, sleet, and freezing rain on the way in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. And with these poor weather conditions overnight, if you have to travel, be sure to take it slow out on the roads. Take a live look here at the Beltline at Todd Drive. The Beltline was down to near standstill speeds earlier this evening. The dicey road conditions have many parents wondering if more school closures are ahead.
Our Keely Arthur joins us from the west side of Madison with a live look at the roadways now. Keely?
We've always lived in Wisconsin.
So Sun Prairie mom Michelle Fisher is used to weather-related school closures, but nothing like what she saw last week.
They had school on Tuesday, that was it.
3 of her kiddos, including 7th grader Chaz, now have to go to school for an extra day and a half.
He said it's kind of nice to have these days off right now, just because, you know, school, you get away from it. However, at the end of the school year, I think he might change his mind because now the extra few days that he could have summer, now he's going to be going to school.
She's spending this evening at Kiva Sports in Middleton, wondering what Mother Nature has in store next. Fisher's district is far from the only one dealing with how to handle the makeup days. Madison Metropolitan added a school day this Friday after class was canceled 4 out of 5 days last week. A district spokesperson tells us they're considering adding either minutes or days to the calendar, writing, quote, "Our goal is to make up time and give ourselves enough of a buffer for any more winter weather we might face." Fisher just hopes school remains in session now, so it doesn't have to be open this summer.
Kids want to get outside and play, and they lose all interest in school at that time of year anyways.
Oh, we're having some issues there with Keely's live shot. They say they're working very difficult, the Streets Division, to keep the streets open and moving tomorrow ahead of school. They say the district will likely check in with the Streets Division on road conditions, but ultimately the Madison district will decide whether or not to cancel or delay the start of school.
So if your plans depend on the weather, you need to get our accurate 12-hour and 10-day forecast and up to the moment traffic information on the go.
Download it. Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. Be the first to know It's free now in your app store of choice.
President Trump delivered his second State of the Union address in front of a very different audience on Capitol Hill tonight.
And Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats control the House chamber, of course. Republicans own the majority in the Senate. For an hour and a half on a contentious Capitol Hill, the president at times preached unity, touching on bipartisan topics like infrastructure projects, cutting the cost of prescription drugs, and ending HIV in the United States.
The agenda I will lay out this evening is not a Republican agenda or a Democrat agenda. It's the agenda of the American people.
Now, the president also talked about the economy, lowering the price of health care, ending the special counsel's investigation, and, of course, funding for a border wall. As another possible government shutdown looms just 10 days away, the Democratic response was given by former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, also calling for bipartisanship.
We may come from different sides of the political aisle, but our joint commitment to the ideals of this nation cannot be negotiable. Our most urgent work is to realize Americans' dreams of today and tomorrow, to carve a path to independence and prosperity that can last a lifetime.
Abrams spoke about the need for better, more affordable health care, action on climate change, addressing gun laws and student debt. She says America is stronger by fighting for our shared values. For a reaction from local politicians, we have that on our website, channel3000.com.
Nearly 200 physicians, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners around Wisconsin have been sent notification letters today warning them about their opioid prescribing practices. Now, according to the Department of Justice, a review of those individuals' prescribing practices showed they were prescribing opioids at relatively high levels compared to others. Although the letters acknowledge that the prescriptions may be medically appropriate, prescribing opioids without a legitimate medical purpose could subject them to enforcement action. The names of those who got the letter will not be released. The State Crime Laboratory has purchased a new vehicle that will respond to crime scenes across the state. Attorney General Josh Gall says the vehicle will be used in addition to the Madison laboratory. It was purchased to increase the amount of equipment available to forensic analysts and technicians when responding to crime scenes. The city of Madison is working on a game plan for a well on the east side after a test for contaminants came back positive late last year. News 3's Amy Reed joins us now to explain what their options are moving forward. Amy?
The contaminant we're talking about here is PFAS. It's actually a group of hundreds of thousands of chemicals found in things like firefighting foam and Teflon. And before we get into this, we should note that no wells in Madison are testing above federally safe levels. But for residents directly affected by this, that doesn't mean they aren't concerned.
This just lays the groundwork for...
The city of Madison is looking for answers, trying to find a way to move forward after testing showed contamination at wells in the city.
People are not happy that these chemicals have ended up in their drinking water, and we are definitely not happy either.
Late last year and multiple times over the past 6 years, the city has tested the water at its wells. In November, they found elevated levels of a chemical known as PFAS at this well off East Washington. And though it looks like just a building, the inside holds drinking water that serves hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the city.
Some states have adopted standards.
Tonight, those residents wanted the same answers the city did, like why did this happen and what are we going to do about it?
In general, PFAS are highly soluble in water, do not readily degrade, and are highly mobile in the environment.
He showed the path the PFAS likely took, stemming from Truax Field. And he also said fixing the issue will be very expensive, a cost the Guard likely won't take up since levels are still well below the EPA's health advisory level of 70 parts per trillion.
These chemicals were made, they're pervasive, they were put out in the environment, and now communities like ours are being left to deal with that. And it's not a situation we're very happy with, but we're trying to be proactive and listen to the community and get their feedback on the issue.
When it came time for the public to talk, they said they didn't trust the EPA's health advisory level and supported further testing.
I think that we need the expanded testing, and I would argue for the testing of more city wells.
But tonight was just the beginning, and public comment only starts the process to fixing the problem. The city said the end and a solution could be years away.
Nothing is off the table as far as we're concerned in terms of this discussion.
There is no federal or state regulation of this chemical, but the state is working to put out an advisory level like what the EPA has. And Eric and Charlotte, tonight the Department of Public Health said that could be coming as soon as April. A
story we will continue to follow no matter how long this takes. Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you.
Most classrooms at UW's Vilas Hall will return to normal use tomorrow after a water pipe burst over the weekend. Only 6 classrooms are still unavailable until at least Friday, and the 5th and 6th floors of the building will remain off limits. As for the chemistry building, which was also damaged by a water main break, all of tomorrow's classes there are being relocated. Students, faculty, and staff are asked to watch their email for specific information on those new locations.
Leaders in the Beloit-Turner School District are asking drivers to be safer after a truck hit a school bus Friday while the bus was dropping off kindergartners at a stop. No one was hurt in that crash, but the truck didn't stop. Police found the man responsible by working with local businesses who captured the truck on a security camera. It is the 4th time a vehicle has hit a school bus in 2 years in the town of Beloit. The district superintendent says something needs to change.
If that were your child boarding that bus, put yourself in that parent's shoes. If that were your child and you were the parent, would you do that to your own child? And if you wouldn't do it to your own child, I don't know why you would do it to somebody else's child.
McCarthy says the district is looking into the possibility of equipping buses with exterior cameras in hopes of preventing something like this from happening again.
2 people were injured after a delivery truck collided with a horse-drawn buggy this morning in Athens, Wisconsin. That's about 30 minutes west of Wausau. This happened around 9 o'clock this morning and closed down a rural highway. No word tonight on how bad those injuries are or if anyone will be facing charges. After months of fundraising, the Middleton Police Department now officially has its first ever canine. Today, officers posted a picture of Jackie to the department's Facebook page. Jackie is a 1-year-old male Malinois Shepherd mix from Europe. Over the next few months, Jackie and Officer Howard Stotts will go through extensive training in Pennsylvania. Still ahead tonight, your first alert forecast with more on the upcoming alert days.
But first, a surprise performance at a local high school basketball game tonight. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. You could say there's a new victor in the battle for world's busiest airport.
Chicago's O'Hare Airport overtaking Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport for having the most flight operations. The 2018 data released by the FAA shows Chicago had more flights than Atlanta for the first time since 2014. But Atlanta doesn't have much to fear when it comes to the traditional barometer used to determine the world's busiest airport. It's not how many flights come and go, it's how many passengers pass through. And in that measure, no one can touch Atlanta's 103.9 million passengers who passed through the airport in 2017. That's 8 million more than the second busiest airport, which is Beijing. A little closer to home, the General is being dropped from the title at Milwaukee's airport. As part of a rebranding campaign, the airport is now going by the name Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport rather than General Mitchell International. A spokesman says Milwaukee was added to the name to better highlight the airport's location.
Apple is back sitting on top of the world. It is now currently the world's most valuable company. It's now worth more than $823 billion. Shares of Apple are up more than 12% since last week's report. The new numbers put Apple ahead of Microsoft, which is worth around $820 billion, and Amazon, which stands at $815 billion. A group of first graders from Levi Leonard Elementary School in Evansville had a special surprise tonight ahead of the varsity girls basketball game.
Now, the class performed the anthem in American Sign Language. They've been learning sign language to help better include a fellow classmate who is hard of hearing. Their teacher and the classroom interpreter say the students loved the idea right away and admit they are so proud of the class for their performance.
I don't have words. I can't wait to watch it back on video. I want to figure out how to buy every kid a donut tomorrow morning to celebrate what they did today, because it's just, I don't have words for what they did. They should be so proud of themselves.
I am so proud of all of them, not only our class, but all the other classes that got involved. It was really special to see that and see them supporting a classmate.
And in the past, the class had learned Christmas carols in sign language, but tonight was their first public performance. Great job.
That is great. Let's go to meteorologist Dave Caulfield now with a look at your first alert forecast. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Charlotte and Eric. The heaviest precipitation has wrapped up across much of southern Wisconsin, although we are still getting reports from the Milwaukee area of thunder sleet. Believe it or not, we have kind of a potpourri of precipitation closer to the lakeshore. And while it may not look like that much across Dane County, we still are getting some light freezing rain and some light sleet reports out of Dane County. So this is when systems like this become their most dangerous, when we really can't see all that much on radar. So you think that the worst is over, and that's true, but we still could see some light freezing rain and some light sleet overnight, and also the slick roads will continue into the overnight hours as well. We've already received some reports of some accidents just past the interstate in Dane County as you head closer to 12 and 18, and also we have some icy roads down closer to Janesville, all part of a winter weather advisory that expires early tomorrow morning. Just to the south of that ice storm warning across northern Illinois. In Platteville, where that precipitation has died down, definitely compared to where it was. Here's what it looks like on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. In Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, we still have fairly reduced visibilities right now. The almanac for today's high 27, so pretty close to where we should be for this time of year, but the weather was far from typical, with some sleet and some freezing rain, some snow being reported across southern Wisconsin. Right now, some light rain being reported at the airport. I think that could be freezing rain as well, and also some sleet still out there. 23 degrees, north-northeast wind at 9 miles per hour. So some other temperatures, 23 in Madison, 26 in Watertown, but just to the south and east, 32 in Janesville. So you can really see that temperature difference. And in Waukesha, we're at 30, Milwaukee 33, and Kenosha at 34. Visibility at 3 miles. So that's actually improved over the past few hours in Madison, but we'll look for that to improve even further into the overnight hours. 10-mile visibility, so looking pretty good in Monroe and Janesville. So we do have alert days in the forecast for the rest of tonight. Also for Wednesday and Thursday, round one of mixed precipitation comes to an end overnight into early tomorrow morning. Then round two comes our way Wednesday evening into Thursday. Could bring us some more freezing rain, sleet, snow, and rain. Overnight, temperatures in the 20s. with some minor snow and ice accumulations still possible. Tomorrow actually dry for much of the day with highs in the 30s. Let me show you what I mean. So that round of mixed precipitation does wrap up during the overnight hours. By the time we get to the commute on Wednesday morning, I don't think much precipitation will be falling from the sky at this point, but still some slick roads are possible, and some more slick roads could be possible later on Wednesday into Thursday morning. You can see that pink return to the map, and we could have some more significant ice totals if the latest model numbers are to be believed Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So snow really hasn't been a big part of this system, but still some minor snow accumulations are possible into early Friday. Here are our latest numbers as far as future track ice is concerned. So up to about 1/4 of an inch in some spots across southern Wisconsin. That can cause major problems with trees and power lines, especially as you start getting closer to the 0.3 and 0.4 range when we talk about ice. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but we do get some relief. We quiet down a little bit by this weekend, but temperatures are cooling down significantly with highs in the teens.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Thanks, Dave. A big upset tonight in our Prep Media Game of the Week. The highlights, the post-game reaction from local girls basketball powers, Monroe and Monona Grove. That's next in sports.
Well, this week's Prep Mania Game of the Week featuring two of the top teams in the Badger South and two Division I bound players as well. Monroe's Sydney Hilliard, who will be a Badger, and Monona Grove's McKenna Warnock, who will take her talents to Iowa. The Silver Eagles haven't lost a game since November 27th. Cheesemakers on a 3-game win streak. Sydney Hilliard up against Peyton Nelson here in the first half, lays it in quite nicely there. Monroe up by 10 at the half. In the second, McKenna Warnock draining a big 3 for the Silver Eagles, but Monona Grove still down. Later, Hilliard with the ball again, putting her skills on display. Check out this nice little fadeaway jumper here. Very pretty. 22 points for her, but a lot of other points from other Cheesemakers as well. Check out Emily Benchel, a pretty shot here as well. Monroe with a big win tonight, 72-55 the final. And after the game, Jay Wilson caught up with Sydney Hilliard.
Monroe comes to Monona Grove, and the Cheesemakers had an impressive win, and Sydney Hilliard was a big part of that. First, let's talk defense. McKenna Warnock came in averaging about 31 points a game. You held her under that average. What was the defensive strategy to hold her down tonight?
I mean, the mindset right away in practice was just not let her get the ball. I mean, I face guarded her basically the whole game, and we knew that she was going to score no matter what because she's McKenna. So, but yeah, I thought we played really well defensively as a team as well as like one-on-one. So I thought that was a main focus for us.
Yeah. You guys played well every aspect tonight. Do you get the sense that this team is kind of on an upward swing here?
Yeah, I mean, when we lost originally to Oregon in the second half of conference play, we knew we kind of had to step it up. And I thought the last 3 games we've improved offensively as well as defensively. So, yeah, I'm really proud of how we played tonight. Yeah. So.
Well, keep it going and drive safely on the way.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Monroe wins. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jay. Well, we've got Border Battle Part 2 tomorrow night, where Wisconsin hopes to do what Minnesota did at the Kohl Center in January, beat them on their home court. It's been an interesting week and a half for the Big Ten, with top teams like Michigan and Michigan State getting upset. But according to Brad Davison, that just shows how tough the Big Ten is this season.
I think it just shows how deep and how competitive it is. You know, there's a lot of great teams, and it's from 1 through 14. Everyone can compete with everybody. It just depends on where you play and who shows up that night, and that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it fun for the fans to watch and fun for us to play.
In Milwaukee, St. John's visiting 10th-ranked Marquette. Under a minute to go, Marcus Howard goes into the corner to Sakar Anim. Marquette taking the 1-point lead with 36 seconds left. But St. John's with a chance here. Nice setup, and Sharmore Pons, the drive and the bucket. St. John's hangs on to win 70-69. I'm sorry, Charlotte. Marquette losing its first game at Fiserv Forum ever. We'll be right back.
So he
Winter weather advisory still in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning for southern Wisconsin. Still some light freezing rain and sleet out there. That will continue through the overnight hours. Another round of mixed precipitation comes our way late tomorrow into Thursday. And we are quieter for the weekend and colder with temperatures below 0 once again.
All right.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.